Previously, I introduced the augmented chord, which, as you recall, is a major triad with a raised or sharped fifth, spelled 1-3 sharp 5, and I explained its theoretical origin, which is it is the third diatonic triad of both the melodic minor and harmonic minor scales. I also demonstrated ways in which classical composers would use the augmented triad to intensify a 5-1 resolution in a minor key, for example, using an augmented 5 chord instead of a straight 5 chord. I'd now like to offer additional examples of ways in which composers and pop songwriters have put this painfully sweet chord to great use, including in major keys, which kind of bends the rules of traditional harmony a little bit by borrowing chords from the parallel minor key. My favorite example of the augmented chord's use in classical music is in Franz Schubert's heavenly masterpiece Ave Maria, which, as you may recall, I presented a complete solo guitar arrangement of back in the November and December 2015 installments of String Theory and Issues of Guitar World. The passage to which I'm referring is in the key of A, and the augmented chord comes in the 6th bar. So I'm going to play a little passage excerpt from my arrangement, and I'm using tremolo picking to get that kind of minstrel-like, peasant vibe. So it's... Here comes the augmented chord. And then it continues. Beautiful. So we have A, F sharp minor 6, A over E, E13, which resolves not to A, but F sharp minor. Okay, and then coming up, B minor over D, E7 with a little sus4, resolving sus2, A. So we're going from A here. There's the augmented, just sharp 5. So we went from... That's it, the voice leading goes... But except the E note is over here the first time. That's really nice. You have the add 9 on the F sharp minor. So here's the root, the 5th, the 3rd in the bottom, and the 9th. Gorgeous. Another celebrated example of the augmented chord's use in classical music can be found in the 1924 aria Nessun Dorma by Giacomo Puccini, which has been recorded many times over the years in the 20th century. It's a great showcase piece for operatic tenors such as Luciano Pavarotti and Andrea Bocelli. And it was also recorded by none other than Jeff Beck on his 2010 album Emotion and Commotion with great feeling. And basically that piece is in the key of G. Okay, so the main theme is in G, and then it goes to like a D augmented over A flat, which is really nice because here's your D augmented chord. So what Puccini did was instead of just going, gives it that longing feeling, right, with that augmented resolution. But he put the flat 2, A flat, which is known in jazz circles as a tritone substitution, which is something that emerged in the late Romantic and Impressionistic periods of classical music in the late 19th century, along with the practice of borrowing chords from the parallel minor key, which is something we're going to explore further in future lessons. So in this example, the basic chord change goes... And of course, Beck did it. He played the melody as single notes, and he did some whammy bar dips and bends. And then you could play it in a high register like this. And here's the special fingering I used here. My pinky is double jointed, so I can kind of arch it up like that and get that note. And then the second chord, A flat 9, sharp 11. I'm using an old trick here called shared fingertip fretting, where my ring finger is holding down the tip. I'm not borrowing, it's holding down both the G and B strings at the 11th fret. So it's... such a beautiful, like a sentimental kind of chord change. returning to the world of pop and rock music, a great example of an augmented chord's use in a pop song can be found in the early Beatles hit From Me to You, which is in the key of C. And at 48 seconds and 1 minute and 30 seconds, which is the end of each bridge section in the song, coming out of the bridge, guitarist John Lennon strums a G chord and then a G augmented back to C. So as you recall, I know the song is da 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 da, and then on the bridge it goes da 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 da. It goes to D7. I have always longed to kiss you, and right here G, keep you satisfied. Ooh. Back to C. So you have it really kind of pushes you back to the one chord, right? So we're in a major key, and we're using. That's great application of an augmented chord. Fellow Beatle Paul McCartney later did a similar move, this time on piano with his song Oh Darlin' on the intro. He used an augmented chord. Now we're in the key of A in this song, and it starts out with the piano chord. That's E augmented. Regular E would be, but I'm doing a strummed octave on the A and G strings, carefully muting the unused D string, and then oh, darling. And it goes to A. So you get that. Please believe me. But that makes for such a nice, longing, intro. And he uses it later on in the song also. Blues great Johnny Winter employed a similarly effective move for his brief intro to his arrangement of Please Be Home for Christmas, which is in the key of A. He actually plays it in the key of A, but on that album, Hey, Where's Your Brother, his guitar was tuned down a whole step for every song. So he starts out with this E augmented chord on the middle 4 strings. So like that, you want to go somewhere. You can't just hang out on that chord, right? Bells will be ringing, the sad, sad news. We used that a couple of examples ago, right? When I was talking about the diminished chord a couple of lessons ago. So it's, make sure when you do that, when you strum that augmented voicing on the middle 4 strings, because you may be barring the top, don't hit that A on top because that'll clash, right? So now, like I said, his guitar was tuned down a whole step. So on the recording, it sounds like bells will be ringing. But, it's played as if it were in the key of A.